Welcome, algebra students. In this video, what we want to do is we want to start looking at the idea of a new way to solve systems of equations, which is called elimination. And so we're going to solve these systems by eliminating one of the variables. And so all of the problems that we're doing today have been set up specially so that we can either add the two equations together or we can subtract the two equations, and one of the variables is going to disappear or be eliminated, which is where the idea of the term elimination comes from. So when we look at these first two equations, this is our normal system of equations that we've been solving. But what we're going to do is, instead of trying to do substitution or try to graph them, we're going to combine these two equations together. And in this particular case, if we were to add these two equations together, okay, add the x's, add the y's, add the numbers, the y's are going to disappear because 4y minus 4y is 0. So the y's get eliminated. And so that's the key to this problem, is to make sure that something will get eliminated when we combine these equations together. And we can either combine them together with adding, or we can combine them together with subtracting. We can either get rid of the x's or we can get rid of the y's, but that's going to be the idea. So in this particular case, like I said, the y's are going to be eliminated when we add them together. So let's go ahead and add them together. What do you get when you take 2x plus 7x? All right, you get 9x. And so as part of our answer here, we're going to write down 9x, or as part of our work. Okay, like I said, the y's get eliminated, so we're not going to do anything with that. And then over on the other side, what do we get when we add together the 26 and the 1? All right, we get 27. And so now that's a pretty easy equation to solve. So x is equal to what? X is going to equal 3. We're going to divide 27 by 9, and we're going to get x equals 3. Now remember, in our answers, we don't just have an x, we also have a y. So we still need to go back and figure out the y. And that's where this problem gets a little bit more complicated, because we go back to one of these equations and we replace the x with a 3. So let's say I go back to this first equation, the one that says 2x plus 4y equals 26. I'm going to replace that x with a 3. So that means it's going to be 2 times 3, which is 6. So now this equation is 6 plus 4y equals 26. And now I have to solve that equation. So what do you get when you solve that equation for y? Well, we subtract 6 from both sides. We end up with 4y is equal to 20. We divide by 4, and we get the answer y equals 5. And so the answer to this system of equations is x equals 3 and y equals 5. Now, when you type that into your lesson today, you're doing this on Canvas, you want to make sure, first of all, that you type in parentheses. And you also want to make sure you don't type in any spaces. And so type in parenthesis 3, sorry, my pen got stuck there, comma 5 with no spaces, and then parenthesis. And that would be the answer that you would type into Canvas. All right, so that's the idea of elimination, is you're going to combine together these two equations into one equation that you can solve. But again, it won't do you any good unless one of the variables eliminates. That's the idea behind elimination. So on this next example, when you combine these together, which one is going to eliminate, the x's or the y's? Well, in this case, it's going to be the x's. 3x and negative 3x, if we were to add them together, would give us 0. And so we're going to combine these together, and the x's will eliminate. So we're going to take y plus y, which would be what? Okay, y plus y is 2y. And then we're going to take 13 plus negative 5. And when you take 13 plus negative 5, what do you get? Okay, we end up with 8. And so our equation now is just 2y equals 8. So what's our answer for y? Okay, we get 4. Divide both sides by 2. And now that we know that y is equal to 4, we can go back and find x. And so if we go to the first equation, remember, you're replacing the y with a 4, not the x. And so it would be 3x plus 4 equals 13. And we're going to solve that equation. And so when you take 3x plus 4 equals 13 and you solve it, what do you get for x? You subtract the 4 over, that gives you 9. Divide by 3, you get x equals 3. And so our answer is going to be x equals 3. Wow, my pen is not working right now. You're going to get x equals 3, and you're going to get y equals 4. And so make sure you type your answer in that order. Make sure you type in the 3 first, because we always put the x first, and then put the 4 second, because we always put the y second. Okay, now sometimes addition won't work. And so if addition won't work, what we want to do is we want to check and see if subtraction will work. And so in our last example, we want to look at, when we look at this problem, if we were to just add, nothing eliminates. If we were to add right now, 4x plus x is 5x, 3 plus 3 is 6y, negative 5 plus 1 is 4. If we were to add that together, the x's and the y's, neither one of them eliminated. So since we can't add, what we want to do is we want to see if we can subtract. And so let's subtract here. 4x minus x would be what? Okay, that's going to be 3x. 3y minus 3y, those eliminate. That becomes a 0. And then over on the number side, what do you get when you take negative 5 minus 1? Okay, that would be negative 6. So now we're down to an equation that we can solve. And what do you get for x? All right, we end up with x is equal to negative 2 because you take negative 6 divided by 3. And once we know that x is equal to negative 2, we can go back to this first equation up here and we can figure out what y is. So we're going to replace the x in this problem with a negative 2. And so if we do, what do you get for y? When we replace the x with negative 2, it becomes negative 8 plus 3y is equal to negative 5. And so we would add the 8, and we would get 3y is equal to 3, and we end up with y is equal to 1. And so we would type in the ordered pair negative 2, comma 1 in parentheses. All right, so that's what you're going to be doing today is you're going to be doing these problems where you're going to use elimination. And again, all of the problems that you're doing today on this assignment, you can either add the equations together or you can subtract them. You should not have to do any multiplying like you're starting to do in your algebra class. Instead, we'll review that in the next video. All right, good luck. If you have any questions, make sure that you send me an email or get in touch with me through Canvas Messenger, and I will try to get back with you and help you with any questions that you've got. So good luck. That's the end.